All right, recording in progress. Welcome, everybody. It is 8:02 on a Monday evening. I just want to take a moment. I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us this evening. I know there's many other places you could be, probably some other things that you could be doing, but thank you. Reach out to the person who invited you to join this call this evening, and also thank them. They thought really highly of you to invite you to this. And what we hope and what we believe is you're going to leave with just a little bit more information than what you showed up with. And what you do with that information is totally up to you, but we hope you find education in this. And so where we're going to go this evening is we're going to start with a testimony from an important individual in our lives. And then we're going to move on to my wife, Amy, and she's going to share a little bit about our products and about our company history. And then I'm going to close it up and talk a little bit about our company and about our business. And with that said, I guess I got to introduce myself a little bit more. My name is Grant Dippold. I'm here in Des Moines, Iowa. I work for a Big Four accounting firm. My background's in finance. And then my wife, she has a background in behavioral health, but now shares this information full time. And then I'm going to introduce Mary. Mary is actually my mother. She brought this information to us back, I want to say probably in about 2015. And we're really excited about it now, but back then maybe we weren't so much. We just didn't know what we didn't know. But she is a retired surgeon nurse. She worked in the hospital for many years. She then came home to homeschool 4 children at a given time. And then once she stopped homeschooling, she then proceeded to work in the nutrition program at the local school here in Des Moines, Iowa. And so we got to see a little bit about her story. And we thought, Amy and I thought it would just be great for her to share that with you guys and kick us off this evening. So with that, I'm going to hop on mute, and Mary, Mother, you take it away.
Hello, everybody. Good to see some of you I know and some don't. It's just good to see you and meet you. My story with LifeVantage began in 2014, just 1 year off, Grant. And like he said, I'm a retired nurse. I did work in the downtown OR for a few years, and then I stayed home to take care of the kids. And that's important that you know I was a nurse. In 2014, actually 4 years before that, about 2010, I fell and injured both of my Achilles tendons. I fell down off a ladder, but I landed on my feet, and it just stressed out my Achilles severely. Within 6 weeks, I had started to doctor with the local doctors, specialists, because of the pain that was beginning to take over. Over the course of 4 years, I battled this pain. It was debilitating. It kept getting worse and worse. And it was beginning to affect me emotionally, physically, mentally, even spiritually. And I just had nothing to look forward to in life. It hurt so much to walk. It hurt so much to just live life. So I started seeing the doctors. I went to 2 different specialists in the Des Moines area over the course of that 4 years. I did everything traditional medicine said to do, which was the physical therapy, 70 sessions of that, every boot, every splint, every drug, every cream, everything they offered. I wanted it because I hurt. It got to the point that they even offered me surgery, and I took it. And I walked out of my surgeon's office 3 months later after that surgery, and she's saying, I don't know what else to do to help you because nothing had changed in my life. And that was hard to walk out after the surgery doing what they said could possibly help. They didn't guarantee it. Okay, I'm introduced to LifeVantage Nerve 2 activation 6 months prior to that surgery. I, as that nurse, was wise, and I said, no, if modern medicine can't help, what makes you think a natural supplement, an herb, is going to do the trick? And so I went on with that surgery and all. When I walked out of that doctor's office, I called that individual up and said, okay, give it to me. I don't know what else to do. That 6 weeks later, I noticed a change, but I was not willing to admit it was this product that I had started. 3 months later, I said, okay, I'm willing to admit this is the product. I didn't even look at the ABC Primetime News Report. I just was grasping for anything that would help me. And so after 3 months, I then contacted the individual and said, okay, tell me more about this. I watched it, I studied it, I looked into it, and I understood it. I understood what the damage had happened, the oxidative stress that had happened to both my heels. Well, 6 months later, I'm totally pain-free. Nothing else, absolutely nothing else. I did everything that they had said, couldn't attribute it to it, no response. My body did not respond any way to traditional medicine, but it responded in 100% to that natural activation. And because of that, I got connected. I knew that there had to have been more people praying for an answer. My husband prayed over me every night to be delivered of that pain. And so when that happened, I took that as an answer totally from God. And I wanted to share that with multiple people. There had to be other people hurting. And that's when I joined LifeVantage in 2014. And God knew what I needed before I knew what I needed. Not only did I get the answer to the pain situation, but I got to share it with Grant and all my kids. And there's even other stories in our personal family being on this product that has changed the course of their lives also. And I'm here to share it. I'm here to hopefully bless other people like I have been blessed. That's it.
Oh, thank you for sharing, Mary. I often share Mary's story when we are opening up our webinars for her, but it's awesome to hear it directly from her, that this has completely changed her life. And we saw that firsthand from her. And again, guys, welcome to the Zoom tonight. I'm just so honored and feel like this is a privilege to bring this information to you of what helped Mary is something that many of you might be looking for answers and help with as well. My name is Amy Dippold, and I've been sharing this message since 2016 when Mary kind of pulled us. She had to shake us almost to get us to wake up to the truth of what this could be and what this could mean for people. And when the light bulb moment went on, it was literally, I was sitting in a big meeting in person, not on Zoom. And I had this light bulb moment when I heard this cardiologist say he had helped more people proactively more than he ever could reactively. And that was an answer to my prayers for my husband. And so I grabbed him and I said, babe, you are never going off of this. And I'm actually going to start taking it. I had this cheap mentality. I didn't want to spend money. I thought of things as an expense. And honestly, that was a defining moment for me where I'm like, this is the best health investment that anybody could make. And so I'm excited tonight to share what this is and why it's working for people like Mary and for people, thousands and thousands of people. We've been able to touch over the last almost 7 years now. And then the people that have preceded me doing this since the company launched. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to dive into it. If you're ready, you can type I'm ready and let's go. I'm going to share where this all came from and why this is different than anything you've probably heard of before. So where did we start? Oh, I love this story. Who loves a good story? Not only do we have testimony stories, we have a company story. And this is a company story where most wellness companies out there wish they had this, because LifeVantage actually started in a lab with a scientist. His name was Dr. McCord. And this scientist in the 1960s discovered a molecule in our bodies that God put in there from the beginning of time. How amazing is that? He created us with these molecules, and we didn't find out about them until the 1960s when McCord discovered them. And he discovered a molecule specifically called SOD, or superoxide dismutase. Now remember that because I'm going to revisit it, okay? This molecule was this massive discovery, and he was given the Elliott Crescent Medal for this discovery. That medal puts him in the category of distinguished scientists who changed the course of history, like Alexander Graham Bell, Orville Wright, Henry Ford. You know those names, okay? There's a long list of scientists that have shaped where we've headed, and he has shaped how we address medicine. He devoted his career to fighting the effects of free radical damage, which is oxidative stress, in aging. And this molecule is responsible for helping fight that. So he spent 40 years after his discovery trying to figure out how to flip that molecule back on, because the problem is it starts to slow down. It stops working as we age. Has anybody seen the aging effects after you hit 20? How about 30? And then 40, and you're like, oh my goodness, how do I slow this down? Well, that's your SOD molecule that's slowed down. And so he's like, how can I turn this back on for people? He tried drugs. Mary just talked about that. It didn't work. It didn't get to the root of the issue. And so he started putting together herbs, natural ingredients that had been used for centuries. And he landed on a blend, a perfect recipe after 40 years of 5 ingredients. And he called it the little yellow activator, Protandem NRF2. This is what I'm going to teach you about. I'm so excited. It was born and launched into market in 2003, and it sat on store shelves for $50 a bottle in GNC, CVS, Rite Aid, you name it, health food stores. He put them on the shelves for $50, and it sat in the antioxidant section. Well, it's not an antioxidant. It's activating your own. And so people didn't know what it was. Well, because of his discovery and because of the research that he had published, ABC Primetime caught wind of the claims this doctor was making. He was making claims that nobody in the world had made before. That catches some attention, right? And still nobody today is making those claims, by the way. So in 2005, ABC went in and they did a blood test to try to expose him and say, you're lying to the people. Get your $50 bottle off the shelves. And instead, they validated the claims on national television. This was such a big deal that there was over $5 million of orders that came in after this report aired. And the stock from this little biotech company had publicly traded stock, went from $1 a share to over 20, and he had all this media attention. It was just crazy. There was one problem. This was a doctor, a scientist in a lab in Colorado, and he did not have anybody to pick up the phone. He wasn't prepared for this publicity. He didn't have a way to get these orders shipped to the people because they just wanted it, right? And it kind of got lost in the stores. And so he struggled after that to get this to the people. And so for a few more years of struggling, in 2009, he brought in a consulting agency, and they took one look at this research and this ABC report, and they said, oh my goodness, people don't understand this. You need to teach them, right? Person to person is the best way to bring something to market, because just like Mary and some of the other stories I'll share with you, that testimony, people feel that, they relate to that, they want a solution to their pain. And this is a technology that's doing it for people. So he switched to direct sales, and it went from that initial 5 million of orders to now we're doing over 230 million a year and growing annually. And we're a publicly traded company. So that's another thing that sets LifeVantage apart, is we're not just a private company with a product that and numbers that we keep to ourselves. We're very open, we're transparent, we have nothing to hide. And that's beautiful. And so you can buy our stock even on the NASDAQ at LFVN. And the coolest thing, and the reason that I even took a second look, was because of that report. Universities, government agencies, medical centers, they called Dr. McCord and they said, okay, can we get your product and can we fund our own research? That's right. Like no other company has third-party peer-reviewed research. And they all published it, and it was all congruent with the claims that this doctor was making. And we have some fantastic studies that I can nerd out with you at another time about. So that's the story. That's why I'm here. And that's why I'm so thankful, because this is an opportunity for us to share a message of hope to give the power back to the people. That's all this is about. So I'm going to do a few things for you. I want to show you a little bit of the clip of that original ABC report that aired in 2005. It's old, okay? We're in 2022, almost 2023 right now. But I think this is the most important thing because nobody has ever been able to duplicate what they did with any other product. It still works. So the same thing that you see happening in John Quinodis's blood, take note of it, is the same thing that is in the research, and it's the same thing that's happening in every single person that takes this little yellow pill. That's phenomenal. So pay attention, what's happening, what's oxidative stress, and what kind of horrible things is it related to? Take a look.
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock with just a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took might offer a very long life. It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this nondescript building, I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment, a kind of guinea pig.
Dr. McCord, okay.
I'm here at the University of Colorado in Denver to meet Dr. Joe McCord, a world-renowned scientist.
This is pretty exciting stuff you're finding, huh?
It is. We're very excited about it.
His latest research could very well unravel the mystery of aging itself. And his decades of experiments may have the potential of adding years to people's lives and possibly prevent chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. It all centers around this small yellow pill, and for me, it begins with a blood test.
Can you scoop? Yeah, there we go.
It wouldn't be the first time I've given blood for this company.
They want to check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age. T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing.
Bad for the body,
Leading to disease.
leading to disease and leading to malfunction, and importantly, leading to what we call aging. It is a slow progression of increasing oxidative stress. That's the main characteristic biochemically of the aging process.
The problem of aging begins with the very food we eat to give us energy. As our cells burn that food, they also release toxic chemicals. Those chemicals, you may know them as free radicals, react with all the components of our cells, literally bombarding them millions of times per second, damaging all our cells. The result? Oxidative stress, and we all have it. The body fights back with a system of defenses. It makes two antioxidant enzymes, catalase and SOD, whose job is to gobble up the free radicals before they can harm our cells.
So, doctor, how often do I take these?
And so, here I go. With that swallow, I've just become part of a potentially landmark scientific experiment.
Doesn't taste bad.
It's called Protandim, and tests on both mice and humans have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us.
Right now, all we know is that this preparation decreases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is not a disease, just like aging is not in itself a disease, but it's something that accompanies and is attached to many disease processes. So you can see the age-related.
Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age. But in Dr. McCord's tests, taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old.
They all are reduced to the level of oxidative stress that one would expect, frankly, in a newborn or a very young child.
High oxidative stress is associated with more than aging. It's been linked to hundreds of illnesses.
It's at the very center of many diseases: liver disease, diabetes, emphysema, asthma. I've studied all of these: strokes, heart attacks.
Even mental disease.
Yes.
Depression?
Alzheimer's disease, depression.
Dr. James Crapo with the National Jewish Medical Center in Denver is also researching Protandim for the company. But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. Dr. McCord calculates the numbers. The result? My level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically.
45%, that's excellent.
Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after.
Which, if extrapolated back, is the level you would see in a newborn baby.
Would you suggest I keep taking this supplement?
I would. I can't guarantee it's going to extend your life. I can't guarantee it's going to eliminate any diseases or cure any diseases.
But we do know that oxidative stress is part of those disease processes. I don't want to wait until I'm 80 years old and find out that I should have taken it.
All right. Oh my goodness. I didn't want to wait till I was 80 either. So as you can see, there's a whole lot in that short clip, and I'm going to unpack it a little bit and bring you up to speed to where we're at today. So what is the problem? They talked about it in this video. Oxidative stress. Oh my goodness, I didn't even know that that was a thing. I didn't know that was a word. I never thought about it conceptually before this. And the reality is, talking about why God put those enzymes in our body from the beginning of time and we didn't discover them until the 1960s. Well, how beautiful is that now we know what they're doing is they're helping protect us from oxidative stress. And that's the problem. It comes in the food that we eat, right? For energy, as we break down that food, it said it's causing damage to our cells. But on top of it, so much of our food, we don't even know where it's coming from. We don't know what chemicals could be on it. We don't know what might be injected into it. We try to eat, non-GMO organic foods, but there's a lot of people that are eating a lot that aren't doing that, right? The water that we drink here in Iowa, we're like the 47th worst state for water quality. There are so many toxic chemicals in our water, and we should be doing our due diligence to filter that out and then keep it pure and happy. But the reality is the majority of people aren't getting that either. The air that we're breathing. Have you ever had that whiff of chemical and you're like, ooh, how about all those air fresheners? How about all the scented things that are out there? All of that stuff is actually polluting our air. When you're sitting and pumping gas at the gas station, when you're sitting in exhaust, all of that is creating oxidative stress. Isn't that crazy? Now you're going to think about it when you go through your day, you're like, oh, that's not good. That's damaging my cells. When you exercise too much and don't recover, or when you just sit at a desk all day, oxidative stress, right? There's a lot of research coming out on both ends of those spectrums. Just the environmental toxins, when we are stressed out emotionally, mentally, bogged down, our body is being damaged physically. Not even to mention Wi-Fi, EMF radiation, the release of 5G, that's hitting our cells at a frequency we've never been exposed to before. Can you imagine what kind of oxidative stress might be happening? Why are young people getting sicker faster? What's going on? And then medications. Every medication comes with a side effect, y'all, and it is causing oxidative stress. It's actually not fixing the problem. It might be treating different things, and we need different medications. Don't get me wrong, we know this. We need medical intervention in crisis, but we were not designed to live on medications for the rest of our lives. So that's the problem. Not a good thing, but it gets worse. What happens when oxidative stress becomes uncontrolled? When we don't reduce it, when it hits that threshold and all of a sudden you're at the point of no return. So if you look at this chart on the left, this chart kind of blew my mind the first time I saw it. I could put a name and a face to every problem that was up there. And it's, we're not going to talk tonight about curing, treating, preventing, mitigate any disease. Erase that from your mind. We are not a drug. We never will be. We're not here to treat those, but we're going to bypass those. Okay. What if you could bypass all those problems and pull out the root and reduce that oxidative stress? That video said by 40% in 30 days. But John Quinones, his blood proved that oxidative stress reduced by 45% in just 2 weeks. That's how fast it worked for him. Okay, so can you imagine? Oxidative stress happens in each of us differently based on our genetic predisposition, right? We always hear it runs in the family. You know, this, my mom had this, my grandmother had this. I'm probably going to have this, because that's where your weakness is in your DNA. And so that's where oxidative stress is going to destroy first, because your DNA, you need to protect that, right? So it can land in your heart. That was my prayer for my husband. He'll share his story a little bit later. It can land in your skin. We have people walking around with skin problems, like, what can we put on this to help with this issue? Okay, well, let's bypass the issue and pull out the oxidative stress and see how you look, right? What about kidney issues or joint issues? Anything that ends in itis is an inflammation. Mary could not get rid of her inflammation with any drug. She needed to bypass that issue and pull out the oxidative stress. Talk about the lungs. We have people asking about asthma and allergies all the time, COPD. I work with a respiratory therapist. She's absolutely incredible. And to see those benefits, you know, as oxygen is necessary, it's also damaging when we have too much of it. So we need to reduce that toxic load. I worked in an Alzheimer's unit in my undergrad prior to going into behavioral health. And I tell you what, I actually, in my research, was looking up and researching different drugs that were coming down the pipe to help people with this disease process. And there just was really no solution. And the idea is, what if we could keep our oxidative stress lower longer? Would that help? And when I saw this, and there's actually a published research study on Alzheimer's and our product and the gene expression associated with it, that blew my mind. I thought, oh my goodness. And so, you know, Alzheimer's is a big one, Parkinson's, OCD, ADHD, autism. These things that when I worked in behavioral health, almost every kid was being diagnosed with something on the spectrum. That was wild for me to think, okay, why is this happening? Why is this becoming more and more prevalent? Well, our oxidative stress is higher at a younger age. These kids, the common denominator in these children is that they weren't able to detox, okay? And oxidative stress was happening at a higher level inside of them. We talk about the immune system. I was a quiet sufferer I didn't know what was wrong with me. I figured it was some kind of autoimmune issue, and I was scared to go to the doctor to find out. I also had a monthly migraine. I knew it was hormonal, and I was a chronic napper. Okay, chronic napper. Has anybody out there just like, I could take a nap in a hot second and be like, I would never feel rejuvenated? That was me. And I was a young mom, and I kind of chalked it up to be, well, everybody on social media says you just get tired when you're a mom. Well, that's not really the case. That's not how it should be. And I knew that there was something underlining. And when I activated my health and reduced my oxidative stress, those issues went away. And I thank God every day for that, because my quality of life could look a whole lot different in my mid-30s than it could have, than it does, right? I was scared to turn 40 because I didn't know if I would have enough energy to face the day at all. I already didn't entering my 30s. And now I have that back, right? And then continue around there, like your blood vessels, diabetes, eye problems, macular degeneration, all of it is oxidative stress. And you don't have to take my word for it. All you have to do, if you want to prove me wrong, go to the National Library of Medicine, pubmed.gov. Don't go to Wikipedia. Don't go to Dr. Google. Go to pubmed.gov and type in oxidative stress and see how many results come up. Those studies are skyrocketing. And then I got really nerdy. I started typing in oxidative stress and every disease you see on this screen, and I started reading about it. And they all said the same thing, that this is a fundamental problem in the disease process. What? And then I went and typed in Protandim. And that was the only natural product that's been proven to reduce oxidative stress in every single human by 40% in 30 days. No other product, no other ingredient, no other branded supplement on the market can make that claim. That is the only claim that's on there. I just that's what gets me so excited. We have a solution to the problem. Okay, so that's Protandim NRF2 Synergizer. You can see I'm genuinely excited about this. It lowers oxidative stress in everyone, whether you feel it or not, it's happening. And I challenge anybody to get on this for 6 to 12 months and then take a look back at the vitality that they've gained in their life. Why is it working? What is it doing? Well, it is flipping on that switch. Remember that SOD molecule that Dr. McCord discovered? it's turning that on to work like when you were a baby. It's making it work the way that God designed it to work again. It's increasing it. It's also increasing catalase, another antioxidant enzyme, and glutathione, your master antioxidant enzyme. This is the most prevalent antioxidant enzyme that you have in your body, and it just zaps all of those free radicals and cleans up your cell, right? Everybody wants glutathione. People are going and getting injections of glutathione. They're taking liposomal glutathione. They're trying all the things. All of that is great, but it's synthetic. You were created to create your own. If you could upregulate it naturally by 300%, wouldn't you want that instead? This is the only natural product that has been proven to extend lifespan in male mice. Now, this was done by a federal study with the National Institute on Aging. They included Protandim. They did it in mice because if they did it in humans, we'd be dead by the time we got the results. But the equation came to about 5 extra good quality years. And that was even with a half dose of Protandim. They didn't even give them a full dose. So that's wild to me, the recommended dose. So what is in it? It's comprised of 5 ingredients. Now, these 5 ingredients you've probably taken because you've seen the individual research. Now, this is where LifeVantage is 10 years ahead of everything else. Every blend that you see is a recipe that's guaranteed to work. The recipe, the proprietary blend, is what activates the NRF2 in your body. It's what turns on your antioxidant enzymes, your survival genes, your protective mechanisms that protect your cell from the damage of the world, right? And so this blend is 1,800% more effective in the recipe than it is if you were to go take a whole bunch of supplements of that. Turmeric, milk thistle, green tea, bacopa, and ashwagandha. Those are the 5. And don't mix up the ingredients. Trust the process. This is tried and true. It still works, okay? We're BSCG approved, which means professional athletes and Olympians can and do take this, and they swear by it. And we're NSF approved, which means we guarantee 100% of what we claim is in the bottle is tested, proven, third-party, clean in the bottle, okay? Here's a picture of all the research that's been done on the patented product itself. This is another thing. If you go to your cupboard and you type in pubmed.gov, your product, your proprietary blended product, whatever it might be, your supplements, you won't see studies like this published on it. They won't be on pubmed.gov. It might be a private study that the company claims they did, or it might be a study on just one of the ingredients, but you don't know how that ingredient's interacting with the others. You don't know how that recipe is working. This is 30 peer-reviewed published studies out there for you to read. And the one that stuck out to me the most, why I even took a look at this, was the American Heart Association. They've never endorsed a natural product before, and they put their own money and published it in their own circulation magazine. That's why we have cardiologists that are doing this. That's why I heard a cardiologist share about this and why we're here. And so I get really excited about that. And every study in there, if you have questions specifically, I can tell you all about it. So to drive this point home, we've all been told that we need more antioxidants. You know, why people are buying these really expensive drinks pumped full of antioxidants. What are you trying to do with antioxidants? You're trying to neutralize oxidative stress, right? And free radical damage. And so it's good to still eat healthy. You want to eat those colorful fruits and vegetables. You want that in your diet for so many other reasons. But in this case, you can't eat your way into reducing oxidative stress. So you have to activate it in your own DNA. And so if you try to consume enough, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. You'd have to take about 400 oranges a day, 500 cups of broccoli a day, 110 cups of blueberries, or even 120 vitamin C tablets. Okay, that adds up. First of all, that's really expensive. Second of all, you can't do it. Physically, you cannot consume that much. And it still just doesn't even touch it. That's just to eliminate 1 million free radicals. You have trillions of free radicals coming at your skin and into your body every second with every breath you take. So on the right side, you can activate a 1-to-1 million ratio every second all day long. Just one molecule of that magical SOD, right, can eliminate and neutralize 1 million free radicals per second, 24 hours a day. That's why you see in this chart that without Protandim, people's oxidative stress gets up higher and higher as they age. They cannot lower it. And when they activate with Protandim and they flip on that switch, it stays the same no matter what age they are. You cannot tell the difference between a 20-year-old and an 80-year-old. And just before this call, I had another testimony of somebody's blood work that just came back. And they had given it, they were like, I'm only giving it 3 months. And if my blood work doesn't budge, I'm done. They didn't even feel the changes, but they went in 2 months later and their doctor's like, you don't have to go on these drugs. Your body's corrected itself. They went from being deficient in vitamin D to normal. Okay. They went from an overactive thyroid to down to normal. I'm getting testimonies of people with cholesterol issues going back. And some of those people happen faster, but some of those people that have the heavier genetic expression, it takes maybe up to 8 months before they get those results. But they've been able to consistently get better and better instead of worse and worse. How would that feel for you? I want you to think about that. So that's the concept. Instead of supplementing everything, we can significantly reduce the supplementation and really focus on the activation, and your body's going to work better. Okay. So don't take my word for it, right? I challenge you. Go look at the research on PubMed. Just in 2015, Washington State University released this summary on NRF2 activation, saying that that is potentially the most extraordinary, therapeutic, and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. Just 7 years ago, this came out. It takes about 20 years for this to become common knowledge. So I get excited because I'm sharing something that nobody's heard about yet. And people are going to hear about it with or without me, but I want to be a part of bringing this to market. I get really excited about that and giving people hope. So it didn't end with just Protandim Nerve 2. They found other pathways, gene expression in the body that needed to be addressed. And so we now have a family of Protandims. Now, you don't have to start with all of them. You can start with one. Some people are like, well, I want faster results, better and faster, right? So we did stack these together to see how do they work. There's a pathway called NRF1. That's your mitochondria. It's your powerhouse. They break down. Like, has anybody's energy gone down as they've aged? Yeah, that's a mitochondrial issue. Mitochondria pump your heart. They're the energy that pumps your body. They're the energy in your eyes, your brain. You have trillions of them working for you. And as you age, they break down. So we found another Protandim that activates your mitochondrial health. And then we have another pathway called NAD that helps recycle the trash and take it out. So when Protandim Nerve 2 is cleaning house, Nerve 1's running your engines, NAD is taking it out, right? And so we made these 3 Protandims that people can take, and we call it the Tri-Synergizer. They all work in synergy with one another. I get so excited about this because we wanted to make sure, okay, if one recipe is good, are all 3 of these recipes still working together? And they are. So if you look in the first line, we have the gene pathway for antioxidant detoxification. You see that with just Protandim, it increased by 40%, right? What we want. When you put the 3 together, the detox increased to 78%. That's huge. The inflammatory response increased 848%. The metabolic genes for Nerve 1, creating healthy mitochondria, increased to 90%, or creating more mitochondria increased to 120. And then you see that the NAD recycling pathway and the NAD synthesis, those increased as well. So that we're seeing some people that have been like really, really struggling get on this stack, and they have very fast results, and it's exciting to watch. Another product that we have that activates is an activator for our brain. It is a tasty drink. We call it Axio, and it's a nootropic. So what this does, it's a powder that you put it in water and you can mix it up. I usually have mine in this big glass and I get about 26 ounces out of it. And it's about $1.70 per drink. So think about the other expensive drinks that you're putting into your body every day and you don't really know what they're doing. This one, we know exactly what it's doing. It is activating your energy, your mental clarity, your focus. I have had people say it's like I put blinders on and I can just power through. And as you can see in this chart, this is just a kiddo that was having a really hard time focusing. and they put him on Protandim and Axio, and a couple weeks later, this is just an example of his spelling test, but there's so much more that you start to see, right? When a kid can focus and their brain is calm and clear, what more can they do in developing? That makes me very excited, especially with my mental health and behavioral health background. Helping kids unlock their brain is just so powerful. Here's another example of a teenager who was on the ADHD severe, and he was working with this neuroscientist who does brain mapping. And they did his brain mapping before activating his brain. And then they put him on Protandim, NRF2, NRF1, and Axio. We call it the peak energy activation stack. And 2 weeks later, he did his brain mapping again. And you can see on the right-hand side, it was clear. It was like calm. It was focused. The red hot spot disappeared. And so that's just really cool because you can see the testimony, and then we always have data that brings it together. So if you're a person who's really struggling in the brain department, like right now in this part of this talk, you're like, oh, I don't know if I can handle this anymore. You might need the peak energy activation stack. Now, the final product I want to really talk to you about tonight is our newest product in the activation lineup, and it is collagen. Why would we talk about collagen? Well, I think if this is one thing that everybody's like, oh yeah, I take collagen. I buy it, in a big powder thing, and it I don't know what it does, but it's supposed to help with my hair, skin, and nails. Okay. 20 to 35% of all the proteins in our body are made up of collagen. Okay. This is huge, and it starts to decline around the age of 30. I have actually noticed this. And so nobody likes that. Nobody wants the decline of collagen, okay? But why do we have liquid? We have activating liquid collagen. If you are buying a powdered collagen, those protein pieces are harder for your body to digest. So most of the collagens out there, though they are cheaper, probably feel better to buy because you're like, oh, I'm getting my bang for the buck. You're actually flushing probably 80% of it down the toilet. A lot, and that goes for a lot of the supplements that you're taking. If you aren't buying the right stuff, it may look cheap on the outside, but on the inside it's just flushing right through you. And so we use a liquid because it's broken down already so that the body and the cells can just suck it right up. Okay, so it's already chopped up. Your body doesn't have to work. It's ready. It's bioavailable, and it's hydrolyzed. And we use a water process to hydrolyze this, no chemicals. So this collagen, most collagens on the market can say, yeah, we help replenish, we help maintain. Ours, we help activate your body's own. How do we do that? Our activator in our product is ruby red quinoa extract. This is a product that does two really, really cool things that I could geek out for a very long time, but we already learned about activation, right? Activation is 1,000,000 times more potent than supplementation. Okay, ready? So this opens up the cell and says, hey, we're going to replenish you. So it unlocks the cell so that it can absorb the collagen that you're giving it, right? That's the first thing, is it opens it up. The second thing is it activates your body's own collagen synthesis, which means as you age, that dimmer switch goes on, just like with oxidative stress going up, your collagen goes down. And so this turns the switch back on and says, make more of this. We're going to stay young and healthy. And then it turns off the bad gene expression that's stopping your body from doing it. So it's just like Protandim. All of these activators, they're like going down a light switch and saying, hey, this is a bad gene, let's turn it off. Oh, this is a good one that's not working, let's turn it on. And it's getting your body working in alignment with the way that you were created to work. That's the most exciting part. Then when the cell is opened up and ready to receive, we replenish it with fish collagen peptides. We have we have 10 types of collagen that we are putting into your cells and replenishing you with. Most collagens that you're buying, what parts you are absorbing, you're getting maybe 1, 2, or even 3 collagen types. We're getting all 10. That is so cool. If you understand the iceberg theory, you only see the tip top of the iceberg, which is your hair, skin, and your nails, right? But what about all the stuff underneath? Every part of inside of you, the glue that holds you together, the stuff in your stomach lining, your esophagus, everything is made up of collagen. Your lung, it's in your brains, in all of your joints. What if you could help all of that stuff be completely utilized and better. That's what this is doing. And then finally, we maintain. We do need some level of supplementation, right? We're not getting enough in our diet. So we have some really great berry and citrus fruit extracts that just help you glow. Literally, we see people glow. It's so cool. So documentation is better than conversation. What do you think? I'm going to show you people that we know and have seen these transformations. And these are people, most of them are within 30 days. And again, this product just released in June. So you can see just with the neck, oh my goodness, 7 days, and Marcy's neck is a whole different thing. Our friend Gail's sister, her neck changed as well. We have Kim, just 15 days later. Look at the brightness in her eyes. Look at how her face has just completely changed. She said not only that, but she feels like she got her joy back. We see over here, day 1, day 20, and then 5 months later. This is absolutely incredible. She's just radiating beauty. I mean, this is her coming out. 15 days, we see a glow in the eyes. These are the exact same light, and the eyes completely change. We see the before and after of legs. I love the story of these two ladies. I could go on and on. One is a multiple myeloma cancer survivor. She's been activating for 12 years. And then she just added the collagen, and that's 30 days later, and her legs look different. This pharmacologist on the right, her legs look completely different as well. And I'm like, wow, I mean, she's super excited. This is 55 days apart. Not only does she say that her hair and skin is softer, but she's not tired anymore. Her gut feels better. She's not hungry for junk. Her joints are feeling better. And just look at her. She completely has transformed and is getting that vitality back, right? You could just see it. And then this is on the right side is a wound recovery. One of our doctor's mothers, and she is just completely changing everything about how she looks and heals. If that healing is happening on the outside, what do you imagine? Can you imagine how it's healing on the inside? This is just great before and afters of Sean and Jen. She just radiates beauty. Another doctor, again, glowing. And then skin changes, improvements after 45 days. I kind of went fast through those, but that's crazy. That's just so cool. And if people are seeing these on the outside, what can you imagine they're seeing on the inside? What is not in our collagen, just like all of our products? We're not adding artificial junk. We're not putting extra sugar in there. It's non-GMO, dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free. So people can take our products and not have to worry about that kind of stuff. And I'm just wrapping up the product line here. I'll tell you, we took Protandim, and because of a study done by Louisiana State University on melanoma skin cancer, they came back to us with results, and you can go read those results. I can't claim them here, but they came back to us with these results, and they said, look at what this did for the skin. This is our largest organ. It's our first line of defense. It's destroyed by oxidative stress. So they took Protandim and they put it into a skin care. Then they put it into a hair care. The only hair care that I have used since 2018, guys. And then they put it into a body care. So we have activated products that are doing what I just taught you about, reducing our toxic load, cleaning up our body products, and then fueling our brain. We can fuel our gut. We can repair our gut. We can boost our immune response, all of these great things. So if you have specific needs and wants, I challenge you, please tell the person, hey, I'm struggling with this. They will put the cart together for you and get you started where you need to be. But I want to introduce Grant. What's that? Oh, if you're still with me, I want Grant to wrap us up and share the rest of the story about, the other stuff that we have available here at LifeVantage and his story too. So without further ado, here's my husband again.
Isn't she great? Love her. Do you feel the energy? Do you feel her passion? Isn't that crazy how you can experience that? Just even through the camera, through her voice. Does this sound different? Does it feel different to you? Does it sound different than things you've heard coming up until this moment in time? I don't want to wait until I'm 80 to find out I should have taken it. What about the phrase, the most extraordinary preventative or therapeutic breakthrough in the history of medicine? Those are huge comments. And that's something that took us by just absolute complete surprise and awe. And back again, I don't know why you're here. I don't know why this interests you when the individual reached out to invite you to this, but I know you have a story. And I don't know where you're at in that story, but what we've come to find out is that there's a lot of people out there that are frustrated with their treatment using Western medicine. People are looking for a more natural route. They're watching what they're consuming. They're looking for the organic. They're trying to remove gluten. They're all these different kinds of things. We're taking action in that, right? We're taking back control of our lives. That was in the video. Okay. So what we're trying to do here is to just educate you, just like I was educated for the first time in 2016. Okay. First time 2016. I didn't know anything about oxidative stress. Okay. But we went to a cardiologist to hear this information. I know he's smarter than I am, but what I knew too is I could just take his information and I could give it back to you guys. I firmly believe everybody needs to hear this information. For me, the reason why it stuck out so much to me is that cardiologist on that evening research, okay, highlighted some research. He brought out the American Heart Association and a published study on this little yellow activator, okay, and the cardiovascular health and impact that it can give you, published in their circulation journal. The American Heart Association doesn't publish supplements. The American Heart Association does studies on drugs. And here they are calling us out positively, okay? My father passed away from a massive heart attack at the age of 34. I am 33 this year, okay? My wife and I, we started our family, 14 years ago. And in those conversations, they were already 14 years ago trying to put me on statins, blood thinners, cholesterol medications, those kinds of things, because you've heard it before, right? It runs in my DNA, okay? My genetic structure, I cannot change. You can. I think Amy talked about it. Did you hear it? Where you can flip the switch, right? Okay, so listening to this information for me, okay, the positive cardiovascular health, I didn't want to be on those drugs because what I knew is the first drug would come around and I would never get off of it for the rest of my life. I was 18 at the time, 18 till 85. Do I want to be on a drug that long? What I also knew is there'd probably be a side effect on that drug. And so then they're going to say, hey, you need another drug to cover the side effect that you're having with the original one. And it is just a snowball effect after that. And so that night, when we heard this, Amy grabbed me by the shoulders and said, this is what we're looking for. Okay? This is what we want to do with our free time. Okay? With this information, do you believe we have a responsibility to share it? Okay? I think we do. And I hope you're feeling a little bit of that responsibility. So Amy talked about us being the activation company. Notice here that there are individual and unique solutions for you. This isn't a one size fits all. But do you remember in that slide where Amy had oxidative stress at the center? Okay, sitting there at the center, and then all the different kind of issues in the body, the different organs surrounding it. We have treatment. We have a lot of testimonies and a lot of studies out there, okay, with these unique solutions for you. It can go to your gut. What about the story of the brain? Okay, energy. Anybody else looking for energy? So many people are pulling for these energy drinks. I see all these different corporations creating these new ones, and they're filled with garbage, guys. Okay, what if you just had something that you could add to your water and increase your H2O intake on a daily basis? Okay, but also how there's that blood-brain barrier that as you're consuming it, you're also activating the brain instead of jacking the body up with sugars and all these different kinds of things. There's a unique solution for you here. So get back with the person that invited you and see where we can bridge that gap that you're looking for. Okay. But one thing that was huge for Amy and I when we were sitting there that evening is we were Rolodexing names. Are you thinking about other people in your life? Is there a name that just other than your own that's just hitting you really hard, maybe right in between the eyes? Okay. We're going to try our best. Amy and I are going to do our best. Our team is going to do our best to reach out to as many people as we can, including that individual that you're thinking in your head. You know how we can do that faster? You know how we can assuredly get to that person and make sure that it happens? It's with your help. You may not have joined this call thinking about a business opportunity. I didn't go to that cardiologist speaking that evening for a business opportunity, but I did start seeing names as I was looking around and thinking of different individuals. And so we share 100% of this information. Know there is an opportunity to share this, okay? One thing I always love to highlight is this elite pack here. It is a pack that carries every single product that we have. And you get to experience the hair care, the skin care, the activation from the inside, the energy, all of those kinds of things. And what I think is important is if you're going to share this information with other people in your life, I think it's important that you try every single thing that the company has to offer. How can we talk about something if we don't have a personal experience with it? But this isn't just here to get you to think about starting a business, right? 90% of our entire organization is customers. Okay, we love our customers, and the stories that they give us, the testimonies that we get, fuel our bodies, give us energy to continue to share this information at 8 o'clock at night on a Monday evening when we could be doing so many things. We would rather be here changing lives, because that's what we are absolutely doing. I show you the price here. Okay, price is $9.99. Sounds like a lot of money. From an entrepreneur perspective, that's me. So I'm going to kind of paint it in my lens. I was thinking about trying to franchise something. Okay. Franchising these days is hundreds of thousands of dollars and in crazy amounts of overhead on a monthly basis, dealing with employees, insurance, all of it. Okay. If I could start a business for $9.99, and I'll show you a couple slides further where this really hits home. If I could start a business for $9.99, that's not expensive, especially when it's all product that I'm really excited about and would like to try. Okay. A little bit about us as a company. Okay. Because I think it's important to also know the people behind the scenes. Okay. We're a publicly traded organization. That's not too frequent in the network marketing space. Okay. Amy told you the story where we actually started in GNC stores and health food stores. Okay. And then we pulled it off the shelves and started doing direct sales. Didn't start in direct sales. Our earnings or our total sales increasing year over year, especially with that collagen. You pair activation with collagen and activate your own. We under projected the sales of collagen. And when these before and after photos, just after 7 days, 30 days started coming out, we did 6 times as much global sales as what we anticipated when we started. Look at the last line there after the comma. We're a debt-free company. Do you think that's important right now as we're trying to source products and maybe there's resource constraints for our products? Where's the economy going? None of us really know, but there's a little bit of pressure there. Do you think it's important to be a debt-free organization at the same time? I do. Okay. And then looking at the opportunity, if I'm going to share something, okay, the opportunity's there if everybody doesn't already know about it. So we have 67,000 distributors worldwide. What that means is if you go into a general populated area, you go to a Des Moines, you go to a Sioux Falls, you go anywhere, okay? The average individual is not going to know about that. And what that means is there's an opportunity. Just like this little chart here, you'll see the asterisk, the purple asterisk at the bottom left. Okay. We're in the early adopter phase of Nerf 2 and activation. Okay. This is groundbreaking stuff. And like Amy said, it sometimes takes 20 years to get the word out. It's not going to be, 10 years down the road. It's not going to be what's nerve 2, what's activation. It's what are you doing to activate your body naturally? And we're already here. Okay. 80% of the growth of the organization happens in that upline, okay, towards stabilization where you're following that arrow. Okay, think of the companies like Apple or Starbucks, maybe some poor examples there, Walmart, different places like that. I've heard so many people say, I wish I'd bought stock in that organization back in the 80s, right? Well, what if this is that? What if LifeVantage is the opportunity that 10 years from now, you're looking back saying, oh, I wish I'd jumped on board with that. I wish I'd teamed up. What we're looking for people that love people. That's really it, okay? People that have that responsibility to share once they have this information. All right, last thing here, right side of the screen, okay? Ranks in the company. That doesn't probably mean anything to you, but what it should mean to you is total lives impacted. As you move from distributor down to executive master pro 10, it just means more lives have been changed. Okay. Now go to the third column there. It gives monthly average commissions. Okay. The reason why we show this is we're a publicly traded company. That's actually an earnings income disclosure statement. We're required to publish this information. Okay. So look at that. Right now in this economy, there's generally more month at the end of every paycheck. What that means is people are trying to make decisions, and 90% of the time, decisions for their lives, and 90% of the time, it's wrapped up in finances. I know a lot of people, and maybe you know a lot of people, maybe it's not you, but there's other individuals that look at Pro 3, an extra $645 a month. That could allow them to make different choices. We were able to start homeschooling, okay, because we could bring Amy home to be with the kids and then begin to homeschool our kids and make that decision for our life. We're Elite Pro 7s. It's a little bit further down. You see that $13,000? That's our average commissions on a monthly basis. Do you think I think back at all at that 999 starter pack, wishing I'd made a different decision now that our average monthly commissions are $13,000 a month? It doesn't happen, okay? And so if this isn't for you from a business perspective, okay, that's totally fine. But I absolutely believe that activation is for everybody. And so what I encourage you to do after the end of this call is to get back with the person who invited you and just let them know where you're at, okay? Thank them for this information. Thank them for taking the time to invite you. I'm really glad you guys signed on this evening. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. I hope that we cross paths in the future. We're doing 3-way calls and text messages all the time. And we're completely transparent individuals. So have a great Monday evening, and Christmas is coming. Merry Christmas. Thank you.